Welcome back to The Explainer. Today, we are exploring a genuinely fascinating piece of source material that asks a massive, terrifying what-if question. Seriously, think about this. What actually happens if there are no Avengers around to stop a global extinction-level threat? What happens if the fate of an entire world falls squarely on the shoulders of heroes who, well, don't even belong in that universe? Today, we're breaking down a ridiculously high-stakes battle between a relentless swarm of Ultron drones and a totally unlikely alliance of multiverse Spider-Men. It's an absolutely incredible narrative, so let's just jump right in and see how this whole crazy scenario plays out. The source material actually starts off by pulling you directly into the experience. It says, close your eyes. Imagine waking up in a completely different world. And I love this because that brilliant second-person perspective hooks us right away. You're not just sitting back comfortably watching a story unfold. The narrative demands that you literally feel the disorientation. You are living this. You're waking up in this fracturing reality where the rules have completely changed. And it sets this deeply personal, immersive tone for all the sheer chaos that's about to hit. Which brings us right to Act 1, Dawn of the Ultron Swarm. The source describes this initial invasion as pure sensory horror. Picture hundreds of sleek, robotic shapes descending in this perfect, calculated formation out of a sky just totally dark with metal. Peace through extinction. That is Ultron's chilling promise to the world. But the text notes this really terrifying contrast here. He doesn't scream it at them. A calm, almost gentle voice just booms from every single drone at the exact same time. He's promising that humanity's evolution absolutely requires its ending. And he says it with the terrifying patience of someone who has already decided the outcome of the war before a single punch has even been thrown. He genuinely believes the fight is already over. Okay, let's dive into this counterforce. Just as all hope seems lost, a portal flickers open across the fracturing skyline. But, it doesn't bring an army. Instead, it drops in 3 totally disoriented heroes from realities that we're never, ever supposed to meet. We get this completely random, asymmetrical trio. There's a Spider-Man built for immense strength who just lands hard on a rooftop. Another is flickering strangely in and out of visibility. And a third has these faint blue sparks crackling right along his webbing. It perfectly highlights their ultimate underdog status here. They have absolutely no idea how they got there, but they really don't have time to ask questions because the drones are already moving. Moving right into Act 2, the unbeatable, adapting enemy, the battle escalates instantly. That first wave hits like an absolute mechanical storm, tearing through the city with terrifying precision as our Spider-Man fight for their lives. And right here is where the creeping horror really sets in. The strength-based Spider-Man throws himself into the front line, smashing through drone after drone using sheer brute force. But then, the wreckage reassembles itself. The smaller, destroyed drones literally merge together and rebuild what was broken just moments ago. So this isn't a traditional army you can just punch into submission. The source makes it devastatingly clear. Ultron's swarm adapts faster than you can hit it. We immediately see a terrifying power imbalance. When the electric web Spider-Man tries overloading a cluster of drones, well, it works for exactly 1 second. Then Ultron coldly informs them that the surviving drones have already adjusted their shielding. They learn instantly. The same trick won't work twice. On the other side, we have our Spider-Men. They are exhausted. They're getting physically pushed back block by block. Buildings are crumbling around them, civilians are scattering, and for the very first time, doubt starts to creep in. I mean, how do you beat an enemy that feels zero fatigue and shows absolutely no mercy? Act 3, discovering the hidden vulnerability. With the front line basically crumbling, the invisible Spider-Man makes a crucial decision. He slips unseen, like a ghost, through the chaos to desperately search for any tiny weakness in this endless wave of machines. Now, this part is absolutely crucial. Deep in the wreckage of a destroyed communications tower, the invisible Spider-Man finds it, a relay node. The text defines this as a single, unshielded communications point that is routing Ultron's core consciousness to every single drone in the swarm. It's incredibly small, and it's heavily guarded by the swarm. But in a city totally overflowing with unbeatable, adapting machines, this one tiny, vulnerable node is the only real chance they have. Which brings us to executing the final overload. Finding the node is one thing, but getting to it is an entirely different battle. The swarm suddenly seems to sense the danger, and they throw absolutely everything they have to protect this core. This requires a highly tactical assault born out of pure desperation. Let's break it down. Step 1, the strength-based Spider-Man acts as the battering ram. He clears a path through sheer brute force, taking hit after brutal hit, but just refusing to fall. Step 2, the invisible Spider-Man uses the utter chaos of that frontline brawl as the perfect cover, getting into position to give the ultimate signal. And Step 3, the electric web Spider-Man rigs one final massive overload. He isn't scattering his attacks across the battlefield anymore, he's buying time to concentrate every last volt he has for a single decisive strike on the relay core. But then the true threat arrives. As the drones close in from every direction, Ultron himself finally descends into the ruined street. The source describes him as towering, cracked, and radiating this quiet menace. He personally drops in to trap the exhausted, totally outnumbered team. The sheer physical presence of Ultron stepping into the fray makes it genuinely look like this tactical assault has failed before it even truly began. He addresses the Spider-Man almost with pity. Your resistance changes nothing. It is pure arrogance, He's completely convinced that they are totally out of options. But it is in this exact moment of supreme overconfidence that the trap is sprung. Right as Ultron dismisses them, the invisible Spider-Man reappears directly behind the relay, having used the distraction perfectly, and gives the final signal. And then, the electric web Spider-Man unleashes absolutely everything. A blinding surge of concentrated energy tears directly through the exposed relay core and surges outward into every connected drone at once. The text describes this incredibly satisfying crescendo, where Ultron's confident voice actually fractures mid-sentence. It distorts into screaming static across the entire battlefield. All that calculated precision is destroyed in an instant, as drone after drone goes completely still and just collapses lifeless onto the street. Resolution: a world saved by spiders. The aftermath is so quiet. Ultron staggers, his systems failing, right before the strength-based Spider-Man drives a final crushing blow straight into his cracked chest plate. The great machine finally goes dark, crumpling into the rubble like nothing more than scrap metal, leaving behind the heavy silence of a ruined street. As the distant sound of approaching sirens cuts through the silence, our three heroes stand together amidst the wreckage. They are from entirely different worlds, breathing hard, having just saved a reality that wasn't even theirs to protect. And the source perfectly relieves this incredible tension with a very familiar tired joke. One of them breaks the silence and just goes, "I need a serious nap after this." It grounds the story beautifully. Despite the cosmic multiverse stakes, they are still, at their core, just friendly neighborhood Spider-Men. And for the first time since the metal fell from the sky, it actually feels like the nightmare is finally over. So we reach the end of this incredible text, looking at a world with no Avengers, saved by a highly tactical, completely improvised team-up of Spider-Men who never should have even met. It shows us how diverse, specialized skills can overcome pure, adaptable brute force when coordinated perfectly. It's a brilliant lesson in asymmetric warfare and leveraging unique strengths against a monolithic enemy. But it leaves us with an absolutely fantastic question to ponder. Do you think they could really have stopped Ultron on their own? Or did they just catch him at the absolute perfect moment of arrogance? I really hope this explainer get you a deep appreciation for the tactical brilliance mapped out in this crossover. Keep exploring these incredible scenarios, and I'll catch you next time.